Hey guys, welcome back to the Pondr podcast. We're super excited about this episode today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Manavi, and I'm a grad student here at KU, and I'm studying masters in computer science. And I've been here at KU for a year, more than a year actually, and I'm originally from India.
Very cool. Very exciting. So yeah, I would love to hear more about kind of your background and your journey so far within the computer science space. So where did you originally do your undergrad and kind of what other experiences did you have in your undergrad?
Yeah. So I did my undergrad from India because I studied in India. And I did the same thing, BTech in computer science. And I've done like quite a few internships. I did around like two or three internships back in India during my undergrad, which were not very related to the software engineering part of it, but just the embedded systems, just still like coding, but like just hardware coding. So that's something that I've done earlier in my other experiences. And after I came to US, recently did an internship here that was in Minnesota. So I was in Minnesota for this entire summer.
Oh
I
wow.
think yeah, it was a great experience. I loved it. It was like a very different experience if you compare it to like internships back in India. I think it's just different. So like different places. So yeah,
And what was that internship about? What were you doing?
I think it was like very different kind of work. It wasn't like one specific thing. I was also in the designing part of it. I was also coding something, developing something. I was also testing something. So it wasn't some one specific thing that I did, but it was majorly still in the computer science field of it. Yeah.
And you're even better, you're even more well traveled than me in the US. I haven't been to Minnesota. How is Minnesota?
I don't know if people, I don't like it a lot. I think it's just like a bigger version of Florence.
Okay,
Yeah,
Lawrence. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't think
Gotcha.
there's like a lot of things to like see out there, but there's like one like the biggest mall in the U.S. So
Gotcha.
I did see that.
Nice.
That was
Very cool.
I think it was an experience. So
Absolutely. And so, kind of what led you to choose KU specifically for the master's in computer science now?
yeah, I think I was looking up at different courses that I want to choose at the end of the day when I come for a master's. And KU was something that had everything that I wanted to do, all the courses. That was one thing. And especially as an international student, I think just choosing a college that was more affordable was also one big factor for me. And KU was doing that. So I think these two were the biggest reasons for me to like choose KU.
Nice. And at your time in KU, what are some of the things that you've been involved in, either through your computer science or kind of on your own as well?
Yeah. So when I initially came to KU, I was a part of Hope at CAPS. So CAPS is the mental health organization here at the campus. And Hope is like a smaller subdivision in it where we organize events around the campus relating to mental health awareness. So that was really cool. We organized quite a few events, which and having around like 100, 200 people just showing up for events. So that was really cool. And something else that I was a part of was KUGEA. That's the Graduate Engineering Association. So we would, again, same thing, organize events for graduate students, but that was just for engineering students. So
Gotcha.
help people connect, for if you be able to make friends and just things like those.
So tell us more about the startup that you've been working on.
So the startup that I've been working on is called Gigswall, and I've been working on it for the past 6 or 7 months. It's something related to student freelancing. So as students, you never get a chance for you to be able to just showcase your skills.
Uh,
You can't do that unless you have an internship where you can go and work, or unless you have a full-time job where you can go and work, or you want to do it for your friends and family. That's all, or that's it.
well, and what's interesting too is the internships can be so competitive now,
Exactly.
and jobs can be so competitive that it's
Exactly.
very hard to get an internship, especially for engineers. I've heard that they go to the career fairs,
Yeah.
and all engineers that have been to that career fair this
Yeah.
year, it was just completely packed. It was
Yeah.
insane. I've had engineering friends apply for hundreds of positions and only get interviews for a few,
Exactly.
and then they can barely get a job. So that's really interesting. So what are the differences in kind of the opportunities that it provides? How are they different from internships or more traditional roles?
Exactly. So internships are something that are at least a month or a two or three around those time. So and Gigswall is based on the idea of having small gigs. So gigs is basically something that's a small task, just for people to tell what a gig is. So that's where the name also comes from, Gigswall, because we want to talk about just short term that can be done over a weekend, that can be done over like a week, max to max. So you want to have students being able to just do these short kind of works. And just to give an example on what students can do, so for example, I am a technical person. I know how to build websites. you are a business student, you don't know how to do one. So you could be the one to like post it on
Gotcha.
Gigswall, and I could do it for you as a student. Or so, for example, for Gigswall, I needed somebody to make a logo. I don't know how to do it. I posted it on Gigswall, and I found somebody from it. So I think it's very cool to see how just things fall into place. But it's just these small kind of things where you don't want to hire a full-time
Yeah.
person,
Sure.
but you don't want to hire somebody from these global freelancing platforms called Upwork, Fiverr, because it's expensive. It's a whole lot complicated, and we want to make the same process very simple,
Interesting.
but for students.
While also providing students with really valuable opportunities
Exactly.
that they want, that they don't necessarily need to be paid like top dollar for, because
Exactly.
they're much smaller projects. So no, that's interesting, because we've definitely ran across this problem, within the entrepreneurship club, and many clubs run into this. It's like they need marketing materials, they
Exactly.
need a logo, they need to, someone to manage their finances or build a website or things like that, and they have no idea where to start. And they don't have the money to go hire a real, person
Exactly.
out there to start it. So that's really, really interesting. How's it changed over the past 6 months? I mean, what was your first version of that? And are you still on that first version, or how have you kind of worked on it?
Okay, so the first version I think we launched was on 27th April. I think I remember the date.
Okay.
So the first version honestly was just not good. It was just bad. It wasn't, I think a lot of things didn't work in it. But then the first version was only to validate the idea that if this thing that is in my mind is going to work or not. And even though it was really bad, buttons didn't work, it wasn't mobile friendly. I think it was the most horrible website I could possibly see, if I see it now. But I think I thought it was really cool when I made it like 6 months back. So that's how the first version started out. And we saw people coming in. We saw actual gigs happening on the platform, even though it wasn't the greatest platform out there. So that's when we validated the idea. And when we did that is when I started working on the second version of it. That has a much more stronger logic, backend logic. People could just chat on the platform. There are just multiple features added onto it that just wasn't there in the first version.
So tell me more about, because you're really acting as like a middleman, connecting both the gigs to people who want to do the gigs. Tell me more about kind of why you chose to do that. There might be some other businesses that say, we want to hire people who know how to make a website,
Right.
and then they connect those people straight to them. So what was kind of the thought process behind choosing to be in the middle, connecting those two people, rather than serving kind of the whole kind of one side, if that makes sense?
Exactly. So I think initially I wanted to just serve the one side of it that was students, because as a student I have struggled enough. I have seen how it's just not feasible for us to just go on these freelancing platforms. I tried making an account on all platforms out there. I think I could just never land anything. So that's where it also comes from. And I've also talked to like a number of people who have faced the same issue. So that's why the whole student part comes in, like why I want to build it for the students. But on the same end, where I see small businesses, really small startups, they also need help that is much more affordable, because they can't hire somebody who's a full-time person or somebody who's going to charge like a lot. So they can't do that. And that's when the whole middle thing comes into picture, because we see a lot of small businesses, startups need that, and students can do that. So that's where we are filling in the gap. And till now, there is no specific platform that just caters to student.
Sure, okay.
So that's where we want to make it student-focused platform. And I think the model has changed quite a few times. Initially, it was just student being able to post things, students being able to apply. But then it changed to businesses coming into picture and being able to like just post things. But the one thing that we are going to always stick to is having students do the work, because that's where our model is based on.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Rather than like, you would never allow a full-time professional to jump on the app.
We wouldn't, yeah.
Gotcha.
We
So
wouldn't.
what kind of like validation do you have, or verification, I should say, to make sure that these people are actual college students versus someone jumping on there? Is there any like restrictions there, making sure that they're in college?
Okay, so we have, when you go and sign up on the platform, you have two different ways. So either you're a student and you want to just apply to things, you want to work, or you're not a student, you're some person, you're some business, startup, who want to just post things and just want to hire students. So we have two different kinds of sign-ups when you go on the platform. But for students, what we do is try verify the student email ID that they have. So, and that's in the backend logic. It's not too complicated. But just that you get an OTP to your email. That's how you verify your email, and we know that this is a real student. And we have our own methods of verifying how this person is a student, like with the domain thing, not too complicated.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So recently, last time we talked, when I originally met you a few
Yeah.
weeks ago now, you were kind of working on this solo and really grinding through it, spending a lot of time on it, and now, most recently, it seems like you've expanded the team. Tell us more about that.
I think, yeah, I had a few people reaching out, and I think that was the cool part because I had somebody reached out to me because they were very fascinated by the idea of it. Like, I wasn't looking to like hire people, like, and I think that's different when somebody reaches out to you because they really want to work on it.
Yeah.
And when you ask for somebody, oh, can you please work for me on this platform? So I think those two are very different things. But I had somebody reach out to me, I think Shrishti, she's on the platform, where she was very fascinated by the idea of it, that she really wanted to be a part of it. Like she didn't care about what I'm gonna get out of it, what I'm not gonna get out of it. But I think it just, as a platform, the idea just inspired her so much that she wanted to just be a part of it. So that's how the whole team is also built, that people were very interested or fascinated by the idea of it and just wanted to build it for students.
And that's an interesting thing about, building a team in entrepreneurship is if it comes from a place of passion, like that is solid. That's a really solid team.
Yeah.
But there are some people that come into the idea and they're like, I just want to make a lot of money, or I want to have a lot of fun, or it's like, no, like this needs to be a passion if you want to have the motivation, because when time gets tough, when you're there working however many hours a week, helping you out for free, basically, it's like, they're going to need something to carry them through that process. And it really has to be passion for the most part.
100%. And it's not like I don't want to go out there and just hire people. No, that is not true. But then I think when you do it, you're asking somebody to like just be a part of it. And I think it's different when somebody wants to join you because they want to. So I think that's just very cool and very different. So, and that has never happened before. And I think it's great.
That is great. That's absolutely great. I think there's a lot of solo entrepreneurs that would beg for that really need that and want that right now. So that's great. So as you look towards the next 6 to 12 months, what is most kind of exciting about that, or what are the next steps for Gigswall now that you have this team built?
I think I was working on this alone for the past like 6 months. So it's great that I have a team right now. And I think different challenges come with it, just like managing people and just like having different people work together. But I think I've got like some great people. We all are on the same page. And even if you're on a different page, it's like just better for the company. So I think that's one great thing. And in terms of just building it for the audience, for the people, I think I want to come to a point where it's just solving something. I don't have a specific number in mind, or I want to have these many gigs posted. I want to have these many students coming in on the platform, or these many businesses. I aim to have people on the platform, but for me, it's much more than that. It's about solving something real. Even if it's doing it for like 10 people out there, it has to solve something. So that's what I'm looking forward to, honestly, for a few months.
Absolutely. No, that's a great point. It's just, solving that problem. Being so focused on that problem that if I'm solving the problem, that's a right direction, at least.
Agreed. And then also just making the platform so simple. And we don't want to make it complicated like other platforms are out there, because we don't want to build something that's already out there. So just making it simple, not making it complicated, having it very intuitive, just doing that.
Absolutely. No, that makes a lot of sense. So, because you're a master's student in computer science, there's probably a lot of industry options out there for you that you can apply for these jobs. What's the reason you kind of chose not to choose those jobs and instead start this company?
I think I never was into the whole mindset of building till this year, till the time I started building Gigswall. I've had this idea since like years, 4 years, 5 years, like probably like second year of my undergrad. And I never thought I could build something. And I think it's very intimidating to just like start a company out there and by yourself for like months. So that's one big thing. But I think why I wanted to do it was I want to make something that is solving something that people are going to use. For me, I think when you see somebody else, not your friend, not your family, use the platform and they say that, oh, it worked for us. I think that's the greatest feeling that I could possibly get.
Absolutely.
So for me, it's about just picking up some problem that genuinely exists and then just solving it.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So kind of getting into a closing here, what advice would you give to that person? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that feel the same way as you, maybe second years at KU in computer science or engineering that are like, I'm thinking about building this thing.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them? Or yourself, if you could flash back and talk to that person, what advice would you give them if they're trying to start this first project?
I think the only advice I can possibly give is just start somewhere. Like, and I think I haven't followed that the most, and I shouldn't be the person to say that, but I think that's all it takes. You need to start anything, and I think I can talk more about if it's in like a tech part of it. Start one line of code, like make like the project. That's it. Because if you keep on waiting for the perfect thing to happen, oh, I need to have a perfect website to be put out there. That's when people are gonna come in. No, people like to see imperfections for some reason. Like people love to see that, and the more you're real with people, the more they want to follow up. So I think you just need to just start saying yes, just get out of your comfort zone and just do it. Beat anything, beat 10%, beat 5%, beat 1%. All you need to do is just show up.
Absolutely. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think so many entrepreneurs get stuck in the process of planning, and they need to have 10-year roadmap and all these things, especially in academics, is you have to read this textbook and you have to go to all these classes and you should be well connected in the community and all these things, and then you never actually start the business.
Yeah.
Especially as students who don't have, frankly, the knowledge or resources for the most part. Definitely on the technical side, you have real knowledge that you can start to build something.
Yeah.
It can be very daunting to actually take a step and start.
Yeah.
So that's always been kind of what I've tried to do as well, is just take that first little step.
You just have to. And I think once you do that, once you take like the first 2-3 steps, you would want to do it more.
Absolutely.
It comes to you that you want to do
Yes,
it. And I think people know it, that starting is hard. They just don't put in enough effort to start it. And once you do it, I think it becomes a lot easier.
Absolutely. Because it's the motivation too.
Yeah.
If I'm dreaming, I want to start this really cool business, and then I never get to actually start the really cool business, your motivation dries up.
Yeah.
Once you get into all the hard grinding part of it.
Yeah.
So having little rewards and taking those steps can be very motivating throughout the whole process. So that's really interesting. Now I want to ask, if someone's wanting to use Gigswall, there might be some people out there that are, struggling to get that internship full-time position and want to add some more experience to their resume, or someone who wants to be more involved with your team and is really interested in that side. How should they, get in touch with you or join Gigswall?
Yeah. I think LinkedIn is the best way for people to reach out to me if anybody's interested with the idea of Gigswall. I am very active on LinkedIn, so if you text me, you'll get like a response back in like 5 minutes. So LinkedIn is the best way to reach out to me, and we have our own website for people to check out on what's happening on the platform. So for you to get a more understanding of like, oh, what is Gigswall? What kind of work is there on Gigswall? So you could check out gigswall.com. It's like a simple domain. But yeah.
Very cool. Well, we'll link all that in the description as well. But other than that, that's all we have today. Thank you so much for being on. It was really exciting. Thanks everybody for watching as well. Check out the next episode. Thanks again. See you next time.
Okay.
Nice. Great.
Okay.
That was good. That was very good.